Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing my September reading wrap-up. No, I am doing my August reading wrap-up. I read 4 books this month, and this month was a little hard for me mentally. I had a mental breakdown like a little bit halfway through, so I'm lucky I even read any of these. First, I read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. Now this book is a novella. It's only a little over 100 pages and it is an extreme horror novel, I guess you could say. I don't read extreme horror often, so this was a nice little introduction for me. The story is centered around 2 women who meet on an online forum and they get into a pretty toxic relationship, and things just increase in depravity over the course of the book, and the characters are put in situations that are pretty dark, and there's dark stuff in this book that I would definitely check trigger warnings before reading. A lot of body horror stuff, death of an infant. It's shocking at times, and I think that's the point of the book. The story unfolds over the course of emails and messages, which was a cool element that I enjoyed. I wish that we would have gotten a little bit more backstory or a little bit more development of their relationship, but I understand that it's a novella. You can't really go in depth here. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think it was a sad look at how loneliness can make you go to extreme lengths just to feel that connection with another person, and it also highlights the toxicity of another person, if a person who is willing to take advantage of that loneliness and abuse the relationship. And I just thought it was sad. It was a sad story about this unraveling, this relationship where one person is unraveling mentally, and I think it was an interesting read. I'm definitely interested in reading more from the author. He just came out with another book, or it's a collection of stories, short stories, so I'm excited to check that out. I was really impressed with his writing, and that is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Then I read Ring by Koji Suzuki, and I've already done an in-depth video reviewing it and comparing it to the films, but this is a story that centers around a journalist who is investigating a series of deaths that happened after people watched a videotape that is supposedly cursed. And this book, as you might already know, has been adapted into successful films. One is Ringu in Japan, and the American remake The Ring. Overall, I thought this was a really interesting mystery. I think it was interesting how different the book is from the films. The 2 characters that we follow are Asakawa, I believe his first name is, and it's a male, and in the movies it's a female, which was a change that I liked. I liked following the female mother character. In this book, I found the main character to be a little insufferable at times. I thought he was very immature and selfish, and it was hard for me to connect with him. And his best friend, who's helping him in the investigation, has some dark history, and I really didn't like him. I found it hard to connect with him as well. And in the films, the person who is helping the investigation is a love interest, and I just like those changes. I feel like it made everything make more sense, and it was easy to empathize with those characters and connect with them. And the book, that was just my big issue, was the 2 main characters I didn't really like. There's also some changes in the Samara character, or Sadeko, in the book in comparison to the movie, and I won't go into spoilers here, but I will link down below my in-depth review that does include spoilers if you're interested in seeing that. But yeah, I think this was a fun, interesting read, and it was nice to be able to compare them to the movies, and I like that the movies were different. They did their own thing. This is the first of a trilogy, so I really want to read the other ones in the series now. Then I picked up Getaway by Zoja Stage. I think that's how you say her name. She's the author of Baby Teeth, and this story is centered around a group of 3 women who go hiking in the Grand Canyon, and their trip goes horribly wrong. This book is a psychological thriller, and it started off really strong for me. I really like the survival horror aspect, and following these 3 characters who have a lot of tension between them and a lot of history. It was nice to get to know them and figure out what their deal is. but as the story went on, it kind of slowed down for me and it fizzled out in the end. And I think that's also how I felt about the author's book, Baby Teeth. It starts really strong and then it goes nowhere. The ending of this book really just kind of didn't do it for me. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but it just wasn't as thrilling or as exciting as I wanted. It moved very slowly, even after the incident that puts them in danger occurs. So I don't know. I think it's worth a read. I just don't think you should go into this expecting like a fast-paced horror story or thriller where there's tons of twists and turns, because this isn't it. And if you liked Baby Teeth, you'll probably like this, but I don't think this author is for me. This is my second book of hers that I've read, and I just don't connect with her writing. I do in the beginning, but then she doesn't follow through towards the end. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I love the cover though. I think it's a beautiful cover. I love the setting. I liked the setup. I just didn't like the execution and what happens. So, and then I picked up Joyland, which was the Horror in 24 pick for the month of August, and I liked this story. It centers around a boy, he's in college and he takes a job at an amusement park called Joyland for the summer, and it's basically a coming of age story about his summer working at Joyland. And it talks about the people he meets, the people's lives he gets entwined with, connections he makes, getting over his first love, his first heartache. And then there's also a crime element to this, where there's a horror ride where a woman was murdered and they say it's haunted and her ghost is lurking around there. And that was the part of the story I was most excited to get to. I went into this thinking it was going to be more a ghost story and more about the crime elements, but it was more of the coming of age story, which is good. It's just I wasn't in the mood for that. Like, I was pretty mentally not well. I was barely like doing anything, and it just felt like it dragged for me. I was going in wanting a crime story. I wanted this character to investigate what happened to this character, this woman, and I wanted to see some ghosts and stuff, and I didn't get any of that. I was very angry because I was just already angry in general. But I think it is a really well told coming of age story, which Stephen King is just the master of that. It's just not what I wanted at the time, so I think that's why I didn't have that much fun with this. I think it's a good summer read. And there you have it. Those are all the books I read in August. This month was just really hard for me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm finally on the other side and I'm getting better and I'm getting back into a routine. I feel better mentally. But yeah, overall it was a decent reading month, all things considered. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about, and let me know what you read last month. I would love to talk about it in the comments, and I'll leave all my social links down below so we can connect on there as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.